What if Oscar found the Omnitrix? Chapter 6. Getting into fighting shape. After returning to the house, Team RNJR plus Oscar had lunch and then began training. Oscar Pine and Ruby Rose were training hand-to-hand combat out in the open arena, as the sun was beginning to set. Jaun Arc, Nora Valkyrie and Lyren were watching them from the entrance to the inside dojo. Man, Ounce wasn't kidding. Oscar's picking up on this stuff fast, Jaun said. Oscar then landed a hit on Ruby's face. Ruby recoiled from the blow and looked visibly angry. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Oscar said. Ruby hit Oscar back, sending him landing a few feet away on the ground. Jaun and Nora wince at the sight. Ha! Yes. I did it, Ruby cheered. Her brief moment of cheering was soon replaced with concern as she looked back at Oscar. Oscar, Ruby asked. You forgot to engage your aura, again, Ozpin mentally said. Why didn't you tell me, Oscar asked. Because this method makes you less likely to forget, Ozpin mentally said. Oscar groaned and rose to his feet. Mind if I give it a shot, Ozpin mentally asked. Oscar stiffened briefly while his eyes glow in a yellow light. Not bad, Miss Rose. But Oscar doesn't have the years of training that you do. Or I do, Ozpin said. Oscar's body shimmered green as Ozpin engaged his aura. Jaun and Nora realized what Ruby was in for. Ozpin determinedly approached Ruby. Oh, well, maybe we should take a break, Ruby said nervously. Ozpin attacked Ruby with a few punches aimed at her head, forcing her onto the defensive until he landed a blow to her face which knocked her back several feet. Ozpin closed the gap with a leap and kicked her in the face. Ruby leaped at Ozpin to throw a left cross, to which Ozpin evaded by ducking and retaliated with a headbutt from below. Ouch, Nora said. The next time you want to throw a left cross, remember to push off with the appropriate foot. And as always, do be aware of any openings, Ozpin said. Got it, Ruby said in pain. Ozpin relinquished his control back to Oscar. Oscar fell to the ground, panting. Oh. Hey. Are you okay, Ruby asked, going to him. How is this more exhausting than farm work, Oscar asked. Your body isn't used to this kind of training, not to mention generating a defensive aura on your own. It takes intense concentration at first, but in time it will become second nature, allowing you to deflect attacks and gradually heal your wounds. After that, you can begin focusing on your semblance, whatever that may be, Ren said. Yeah. Though what semblance could be better than being able to turn into 10 different aliens, Oscar said. Whilst that might be true, you can only do it for 10 minutes, which is a huge constraint. We can keep our semblance up for longer than 10 minutes, providing we have the aura for it, of course, Ren said. But then again, he won't need to worry about the time limit if he can defeat his opponent in under it. I mean, he was easily able to destroy those drones with ease with that fire guy, Nora said. Fire hurl, Ruby said. Ha, Nora said. That's the name me and Oscar came up with for that guy, last night, Ruby said. Okay. As I was saying, if all of his aliens are as strong as Fire hurl, he should have no problem, Nora said. Nora, we of all people should know that there are going to be others that are stronger than you, Jaun said solemnly. Oh. Right, Nora said. Oscar decided to quickly move on before the gloomy mood permanently settled in. So, what semblance do you guys have, Oscar asked. Well, I can move really fast, as you found out today, Ruby said. Which I can copy with a blur, Oscar. I can absorb electricity into my body, which makes me stronger, Nora said. I don't have an electric alien, but I do have a strong alien, for fight, Oscar said. Ren can mask emotions, making him invisible to the perception of Grim, Nora said. I don't have an alien that can do that, Oscar said. Hold on, what about possession? You can easily hide with him, Ruby said. I suppose so. What can you do with your semblance, Jaun, Oscar asked. I can't do anything, Jaun said. Ha, Oscar said. Jaun's like you, Ruby said. Ruby took Oscar by the hand and lead him over to Jaun. He hasn't found his semblance yet, but we all know he will. And you will, too. We all just have to try and help each other get stronger, Ruby said. Yeah, Oscar said. A common philosophy is that a warrior's semblance is a part of who they are. Some say your personality and character can define your semblance, while some claim that it is the other way around. Of course, there are still many who don't see a connection at all, Ren said. It's hard to know when you know sometimes. Ren's semblance was unlocked from intense stress, Nora said. And mine kicked in during training one day, Ruby said. Oscar turned to face Nora. And what about you, Oscar asked. Oh. Struck by lightning. Didn't die. Crazy Thursday, Nora said. I just don't understand what's wrong with me. I train. I meditate, John said. Mind of if Ozpin mentally asked. Feeling that Ozpin would be better able to handle this situation, Oscar decided to let Ozpin take control. Oscar's eyes glowed momentarily as Ozpin took control of his body again. Don't worry, Mr. Ark, your journey is far from over. And the same might be said for all of you. Unlocking your semblance isn't the end. It can still grow and evolve. Providing you're willing to put in the work, who knows what could happen, Ozpin said. Then let's get back to it. What's the next pairing, Ruby said. Me and Oscar. I wanna fight one of his aliens, Nora yelled. Nora, Ren said. What? He needs to practice with them too, you know, Nora said. But is it really wise? I mean, those drones could come back again, John said. But don't you think they would have come back already? You always check where you last have sighting of criminals, right? Why would this be any different, Ruby said. I suppose so. But I'm going to be on the lookout for them, John said. Alrighty, come on then, cute boy Ozpin, show me what you got, Nora said. Okay then. But just remember the 10-minute time limit. Ozpin has told me about you squashing your opponents like flies, Oscar said. Fine. Now come on, Nora said. Nora then dragged Oscar out onto the field. Come at me with everything you have, Oscar, Nora said. You can do it, Oscar. Transform into fight, Ruby said. My thoughts exactly, Oscar said. Oscar activated the Omnitrix and selected fight. He then slammed his hand on the Omnitrix. He was covered in a green flash. The green flash dissipated. Fight, Oscar yelled. Oscar then looked at himself. Wait. This isn't fight, Oscar said. Oscar, I said fight. Why did you choose Slime Jacket, Ruby asked. I swear I chose fight. Why did I get Slime Jacket, Oscar asked. Don't matter now, Oscar. I want to fight an alien and now I have one. Come at me, Nora said. But Oscar said. Clearly there are a few issues with the device. But you can use this as an opportunity, Ren said. How can he do that, Ruby asked. He can use this to practice for when he gets an alien he didn't select, Ren said. That makes sense. Go for it, Oscar, Ruby cheered. But Oscar said. Look alive, Oscar, I'm coming at you, Nora said. Nora swung her hammer at Oscar. Oscar flew back, avoiding Nora's hammer. Keeping your distance, huh? Don't think you're safe, Nora said. Nora then switched her hammer into grenade launcher mode. Nora, wait. This isn't Beacon, remember, we're in a housing district. If you fire of your grenades then, Ren said. Oh right, Nora said. Nora then transformed her weapon back to hammer mode. You better not stay hiding up there, Oscar, or I'll continue to fight after the 10 minutes, Nora said. Here I come, Oscar said. Oscar then flew at Nora. A direct attack. Come on, I know you can do better, Nora said. Nora swung her hammer as Oscar got close, but just before she hit him, Oscar backed off. Oscar then shot slime from his eyes at Nora's hammer, locking it to the ground. What the? Slime? It smells so bad, Nora said. Don't I know it? Took me forever to get the stuff and the smell out when I got some on me. So be careful, Oscar said. Nora began to try and pull her hammer out of the slime, but she was struggling. Wow, that slime is really sticky, Ruby said. But not sticky enough, Ren said. Oscar had gone in close to strike Nora with his tail, but Nora was able to pull her hammer out of the slime. She struck him with full force, sending him flying into a tree. Don't think you can win that easily, Nora said. Ow ow ow, Oscar said, getting up. Hey, you okay, Ruby asked. No, Oscar said, stumbling. Ruby quickly rushed to Oscar's side. Hey now. Don't push yourself. Lay down, Ruby said, sitting down and putting his head on her lap. You forgot to activate your aura again, didn't you, Ren asked. Yeah, Oscar said. Oscar, I'm so sorry, Nora said. It's fine, Oscar said. John then walked up. We should. You what that smell? John asked. The others then sniffed and covered their faces. It's Oscar, Nora said. Great, Oscar said. Guess the slime isn't the only thing that smells, Ren said. As I was saying, we should get Oscar to a bed. How are you feeling, Oscar? John asked. I actually feel mostly fine. At most I feel a little dizzy, Oscar said. Well, bugs have a strong exoskeleton, for their size, the same could be said for slime jacket, Ren said. That makes sense. But I think you should still get some rest, John said. Okay, Oscar said. You three can continue to train. I'll stay with Oscar until he can stand and take him to bed, Ruby said. All right, but before that, I think we should all shower and have a change of clothes, John said. Good idea. The stench is awful, Nora said. John, Nora and Ren then left Ruby and Oscar. As they entered the dojo, Oscar transformed back. Nora turned around and quickly took a picture. Nora. What are you doing? Ren asked. Gathering some evidence, Nora said. Over in Salem's domain, Salem was on a transmission with Vilgax. Why have you not moved in to retrieve the Omnitrix? My drones and scanners have picked the Omnitix's signal in a kingdom you call Mistral. Do you wish to endure my wrath? Vilgax asked. Of course not, but there is a reason why we have not pursued the Omnitix, Salem said. What is it? Vilgax asked. We have our own plans for Mistral, which are not yet ready. If we go after the Omnitrix before we're ready, then that would negatively affect our plans, thus making our deal pointless, Salem said. Your plans do not matter to me. I want the Omnitrix. If you cannot deliver on your side of the deal, then I will take back my droids back, Vilgax said. Don't be too hasty. Your droids have already failed to capture the user of the Omnitrix before, haven't they? It's why you sought us out. So if you want the Omnitix, you will have to be patient, or you won't get it, Salem said. Are you threatening me? Vilgax asked. Not much to threat, Tank Calamari, Salem said. Vilgax grunted. I think we've lost sight of our partnership, so as a show of goodwill, I'll tell you what we are after, and you tell me what this Omnitix can do, Salem suggested. I'll decide what I'll tell you if what you tell me is useful to me, Vilgax said. Oh, I can assure you it is. What we are after is a relic from the past, a relic of knowledge. Any question you may have, it will have the answer. And if you continue to support us in our goals, I'll let you ask one question once we retrieve it, Salem said. An interesting offer. You will have your time, Vilgax said. Glad to hear it. Now, what can this Omnitrix do? Salem asked. The Omnitrix, a weapon I once encountered many centuries ago. It allows its user to transform into other beings in the galaxy. With it I will be invincible. I will rule the universe. And once I obtain it, I will use it to complete one task for you, Vilgax said. I see. Your cooperation is appreciated, Salem said. So is yours, Vilgax said. I will inform you when we are ready to proceed with our attack, Salem said. Very well, Vilgax said. The transmission then ended. They are lying, Salem and Vilgax said. End of Chapter 6.